Welcome, class of 2020. I invite you to stand and turn around to look at your families and significant others and join me in an invocation. Would you stand, class of 2020, and turn and look at your folks. Now please join me in this word of invocation and celebration. That day, she gave a labor-laden cry, and then they held this newborn in their arms, and all the charms and harms of family, now 2 decades thick with memory, all the tears and tears of childhood, skinned up knees, and egg-shelled egos cracked with fragile fears and brilliant, shining hope, the scope of future dreams now underway. Today, they give a labor-laden sigh, and with open arms and hearts, they say goodbye. And all the charms and harms of growing up, now 2 decades far too quickly gone. They stand before you here today, O God. We bid your blessing on their families. We bid your blessing on this passage rite and give you thanks for all that's yet to be. Shalom, salam, namaste, shanti, shanti. Amen. You may be seated.
Welcome, new bishops. My name's Chuck Steinmetz. I'm the Provost and Vice President of the Academic Division here at Ohio Wesleyan. It's my pleasure today to introduce 3 individuals to you that would also like to extend their welcome to you. The first of those is Dr. Julde Yazar, who's Associate Professor of Economics, who in 2016 won the Welch Teaching Award. She'll be welcoming you on behalf of the faculty. Julde?
It's my great pleasure on behalf of the faculty to welcome the class of 2020 and their families to Ohio Wesleyan University. First, to parents, thank you for entrusting us with the education of these remarkable young men and women you've raised. What a joyous day for all of us to be here as the exceptional freshman class embarks on their journey to find their place in the world. Students, you should be proud of your hard work and achievements, based on which you are selected to join to this outstanding freshman class. Every one of you has great potential. Ohio Wesleyan, with accomplished faculty dedicated to teaching and numerous opportunities for intellectual and cultural enrichment, will help you realize that potential. As faculty, we will do everything in our power to lead you in your education, but ultimately, it is up to you to determine how deep and satisfying that education will be. So I encourage you to take advantage of all that this great university has to offer and chart your own path to what you want to do in life. It's customary to dispense a few pieces of advice as part of welcoming remarks, and sometimes they're of little help, like the advice that famous British playwright Somerset Maugham gave to aspiring writers. There are 3 rules for writing a novel. Unfortunately, no one knows what they are. And sometimes this advice might sound too simplistic to be useful at a first look, like the quote attributed often to Woody Allen: 80% of success is showing up. Despite its simplicity, I'm absolutely convinced of the immense power of showing up each and every day, prepared to perform and to give your very best and do deep, hard work. Allen, in the past 50 years, wrote every single day on his manual Olympia SM3 typewriter, and the results speak for themselves. 44 movies in 44 years and 24 Academy Award nominations. Now it's your turn to show up for each and every class, ready to absorb the material presented by your professors, as well as challenge them with your original thoughts and ideas. You will need to work hard, read, write, code, edit, compose, compute, whatever it takes to excel in your studies. Show up for office hours, ready to forge intellectual connections with your professors. Tell them what interests you, what you find perplexing. Ask them for advice and get to know them as individuals. These relationships can turn into lifelong support and mentoring for you. Take advantage of the many choices available at Ohio Wesleyan for independent research and creativity, to turn theory into practice and to create something entirely new and personal. You will find that it's infinitely better to create something that others criticize than sitting on the sidelines and criticizing what others create. College is the greatest opportunity you will ever have for personal development. Don't let your days pass by delving into what is routine, familiar, and cozy. Choose classes that expose you to new ideas and alternative ways of thinking. Step out of your comfort zone. Study abroad. Go to a concert of minimalist music. Visit a gallery of postmodern art. Make friends of different political, religious, cultural background. Do a marathon, but not on Netflix. Learn to hip hop dance, whatever will stretch your mind. Don't let anyone, not even yourself, define you, what you like and don't, and what you can and cannot do. I still remember my freshman ceremony and going to my first class and sitting on the very first row, ready to go. As the classroom began to fill, I realized I was the only female student in the room. Then the professor came with a book titled Statistical Mechanics under his arm. Started writing his information on the board, which did not match what I had on my schedule. In panic, I asked, "Is this history of modern thought?" He hesitated a few seconds, and perhaps with the hope of improving the gender imbalance in his classroom, he said, "It could be, if you're going to stay." So, you are going to make mistakes along the way. Perhaps not on the first day like me, but there would be some. Perhaps even some epic failures. But please, do not be overly concerned or be terrified about making mistakes. As Einstein said, anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. Use mistakes as opportunities for isolating what works and what doesn't, and find new ways to approach problems. Joyce said it best, mistakes are the portals of discovery. At Ohio Wesleyan, we're committed to creating an environment where each and every one of you can flourish and be ready to create solutions to tomorrow's global challenges. Now, it's up to you to do your part. Show up, take charge, give your best every single day. And I promise, your time here will be the best 4 years of your life. Thank you, and welcome to Ohio Wesleyan University.
Our second welcome is from the Ohio Wesleyan Alumni Association. The individual who's going to be welcoming you today on their behalf is a member of the class of 1993 and a former board trustee. Mr. Aaron Granger will be welcoming you on behalf of the OWU Alumni Association. Aaron?
On behalf of the alumni, it is my honor and my distinct privilege to welcome you, the class of 2020, to the Ohio Wesleyan University family. You can think of the alumni as the cool aunts and the fun-loving uncles of your now extended family. Among the aunts and uncles of this prestigious institution are Pulitzer Prize-winning authors, actors, CEOs, professors among the upper echelon of academia, multi-million-dollar venture capitalists, but enough about me. Now, as alumni, we may not take ourselves very seriously, but we do take you and the love for our home away from home very seriously. We understand that the only way to produce great alumni is to ensure that you have the experience on campus that is inclusive, inspiring, invigorating, enlightening, and transformative. During your time at Ohio Wesleyan, you will learn certain phrases that you will never use again after you graduate. I'll give you some examples. You will learn words like sleeping in and all-nighter. But you also learn words that you will carry with you for the rest of your life. Words like service. Ohio Wesleyan has a rich tradition of nurturing a thriving environment of community service. We personify the words of John Bunyan, who said, "You have not lived today until you have done something for someone who can never repay you." You will learn words like friendship, building strong bonds with your classmates that will lift you in times of challenge and will lead your parade of celebration for every victory earned. It may not be clear to you today, but look around you at your classmates. It may be hard to believe, but your classmates will be the future leaders and the key influencers of a society that will be desperately looking for strong and thoughtful direction. So instead of Pokemon Go, let's start battling bishops Go. Leave your rooms of solitude and actively find each other. Connect with each other. Be ravenous about your educational experience. It will serve you well. I speak from personal experience. After I graduated from Ohio Wesleyan, I went on to the Ohio State University Moritz College of Law. In law school, they use the Socratic method of teaching. Instead of lectures, the professor makes you stand up and barrages you with questions, and the students learn from this back and forth exchange. In the first week, I found myself sitting in the same row in class of graduates of several Ivy League institutions. To my right was a person who graduated from Stanford, to their right was someone who graduated from Yale, and the person sitting on the end of our row was someone who graduated from Harvard. On this particular day, the property law professor was eviscerating us on the rule of perpetuity, rule against perpetuities. And so if there's some lawyers in the audience, I'm sure you can remember how painful that was. But the professor asked the graduate from Harvard to stand up and answer his question. And he did so with the flare of confidence that you might expect from a graduate of Harvard. And the professor's response was, "No, sit down." And then he asked Ms. Yale to stand up. And her fate was the same. After she responded with the answer, he said, "No, sit down." Now it was Mr. Stanford's turn. And I can tell you, at this point, I am really rooting for Mr. Stanford to get this right. But to the same effect, "No, sit down." The next thing I hear is, "Mr. Ohio Wesleyan, what's the answer to the question?" And so I stammered through my answer, what I thought was reasonable, with a sort of, what do I have to lose attitude. The professor looked down at me, glaring, just peering over the top of his glasses, and he says, "Mr. Ohio Wesleyan, would you repeat your answer for the rest of the class?" And that's how I knew that the education that I got at Ohio Wesleyan University was one that was preparing me to compete in the global marketplace against anyone. So on behalf of the alumni, we welcome you to the family. We are proud of what you have yet to accomplish. We envy the transformative journey you are beginning. We await the day in the not-so-distant future when we will stand in unison with the common understanding of the meaning of the words in the last sentence of the first verse of our beloved alma mater, "Loyal hearts sing." Do great things. Thank you.
Our last welcome today is from the current students of Ohio Wesleyan University. And on behalf of the current students of Ohio Wesleyan University, Ms. Jessica Choate, President, Wesleyan Council on Student Affairs, will be welcoming you. Jessica?
Good afternoon and welcome to Ohio Wesleyan University. Take a deep breath. You've made it. Or have you? Writing this speech, I found myself wondering about the exact moment outgoing high school seniors become college freshmen. When does the transition take place? Was it when you received your acceptance letters to OWU? Or when your principals handed out diplomas? Or maybe it was sometime during START. After some thought, I've decided that none of these events fit the bill. None of them adequately capture the process, the build-up, the anticipation of that one moment. That one moment when everything aligns and the person you are becomes the person you once were. When that confident high school senior becomes a nervous, excited college freshman. Well, don't worry, I won't make you figure out the answer to my question on your own, because I think I have an answer. Let's start from the beginning. The process of becoming a college freshman was initiated in the car, or for some, in a plane. The doors were shut, you buckled up, and you felt yourself start to move forward. You may have received a nostalgic glance from your parents or guardians because they just realized that from that point forward, you couldn't turn back. After hours of travel and a few tears shed, all of a sudden you pulled into the parking lot of your OWU residence hall. Here, you experienced the next step. That first moment when you saw the chaos of hundreds of people moving in what seemed like the entire inventory of Bed Bath & Beyond. You shared the parking lot with other cars, fast-moving parents, RAs, and were constantly dodging those blue bins on wheels. Hopefully you made it through the stress of moving in and multiple trips to and from the car without sweating through your clothes. And then in a daze, you found yourself standing in the middle of your room, surrounded by all of your belongings, and you realized that this would be your home for the next year. Surely I must be a college freshman now, you thought. You weren't. The midway point was meeting your roommate, those awkward moments when you didn't quite know what to say, but you got through it, and don't worry, you'll have plenty of time to get to know each other. Then came time to make your way over to academic side for Convocation. You walk down the J, past the library you'll no doubt be studying in every night, past the cafeteria where you'll eat your meals, and through the crosswalk that will make you late to class on more than one occasion. You got to academic side and found your seat in one of these lovely red velvet chairs and waited for the ceremony to begin. So, when is this moment we've all been waiting for? Well, I've calculated it exactly, and it's right now. Here you are at Convocation, assembled as an entire class for the first time. These are the 527 people that you will be sharing the title of freshman with for the next year. These are the people who will be finding their places at OWU right beside you. They will be filling your classrooms, and they will become your friends. So, with them, you assume your shared title as freshmen. And in front of you sit your professors who are so excited to get to know you. They will spend hours and hours and hours teaching you, so it's only fair that they get to watch you become freshmen as well. And behind you sit your families who have supported you and guided you to this point. They get the pleasure of witnessing this exciting transformation. And in the spirit of tradition, this ceremony has been the point of transition for 174 classes before you. That means that for 174 years, every bishop who walked through these halls was welcomed to this university right here. Each and every one of them sat with their entire class, behind their professors, in front of their families, and became freshmen together. So after weeks of packing and hours of traveling and the stress of moving in, you become the 175th class to make your transition. Let's take a moment to let that sink in. Now that you're here, if you're at all like me, you're probably wondering what you'll do with these next 4 years. Well, I can't predict the future, but I can tell you about a few great things that Ohio Wesleyan has to offer. First off are these professors. It'll take you a few classes to get used to them wearing those robes, but pretty soon you won't even notice the difference. Just kidding. They dress just like you and I, but even walking around without any fancy outfit, they are special. You will soon come to realize that Ohio Wesleyan's faculty is unlike any other. The student-professor relationship at OWU is more than student-professor. For some of my closest professors, I have been a babysitter, a house sitter, a travel companion, and even a friend. This is something that sets Ohio Wesleyan apart, that will make your time here unique. Take advantage of their knowledge, their patience, their willingness to help, and of course, if they ever invite you over for dinner, don't pass up on that free meal. Next, I want you to go exploring. You are in Delaware, Ohio, one of the best little communities I've ever visited. Go into downtown Delaware. Check out the antique shops. We have about 100. Eat the biggest burger you'll ever see at Son of Thurman's. Hang out with your friends at Victor's Tacos, and even get involved in the election at the GOP or DNC offices right off Sandusky. Also, remember we are only 30 minutes outside of Columbus, a bustling town that sleeps only sometimes. It's a cool place with a lot to offer, and starting in September, we're going to have buses that can take you there every other weekend. Take advantage of that and have fun. Lastly, I hope that you take time to recognize how amazing your fellow bishops are. They are from all over the world, and they can teach you more than you'd expect. They can teach you about different cultures, about acceptance, and about new and different ideas that you may have been unwilling or unable to hear before becoming a bishop. I encourage you to take the time to listen to your peers and to find out for yourself how much they have to offer. So with all of that in mind, you're ready to continue on your journey at Ohio Wesleyan and to make these 4 years your own. Get excited. Get excited that you are now a part of a community of individuals who have all become freshmen together. Get excited to experience orientation together, and get excited for your freshman year. After all, you finally made it. Congratulations, class of 2020.
Good afternoon. To the members of the class of 2020, new transfer students, visiting students, and families who have come as far away as Bhutan, Canada, China, Cyprus, Ethiopia, Germany, Ghana, India, Netherlands, Pakistan, South Africa, and Thailand. and 36 states and commonwealths, including Alaska, Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, District of Columbia, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Puerto Rico, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, and Wisconsin. On behalf of the entire admission and aid staff, I extend a very warm and enthusiastic welcome. We look forward to you being part of Ohio Wesleyan community. You've spent the better part of last year consumed by the college search. We're sure there were times when all the test taking, essay writing, interviewing, and worrying seemed pointless. But you were guided by the desire to find the best college suited for your needs. Likewise, those of us in the admission office plowed through countless recommendations, essays, and transcripts in search of students who would be happy joining the Ohio Wesleyan community. We were committed to a set of standards as high as possible for the university. So we admitted people who could not only do the work demanded by the faculty, but who could do it well. And so we admitted students who bring their talents and possessions to the university and promise to contribute in significant ways. Today, I'd like to take a moment to reflect on the group we have before us, a class that possesses a myriad of talents and accomplishments. We have 355 varsity sports participants among us, 161 varsity sport captains, 40 all-star, all-state, or all-region in a varsity sport. You're a smart bunch, too. We have 90 students inducted into the National Honor Society, 3 students named National Merit Semifinalists, Finalists, or Commended, 9 valedictorians. We have 63 of you involved in community theater, 7 editors of a literary magazine, 5 editors of a newspaper, 5 editors of their school yearbook, 23 students in their high school marching band, 8 earn the lead or role in a director of a drama or production, 88 participated in music ensembles. 3 of you served as Buckeye Boys State or Buckeye Girls State representatives. We have 24 club presidents, 8 Eagle Scouts, 8 Girl Scout Gold or Silver Awards, 2 Hugh O'Brien Youth Leadership Award winners. 22 were voted president, vice president, secretary, or treasurer of your student councils. 10 were elected student body or class president, and 21 were members of Key Club. 273 of you did volunteer work or community service in your schools. You're committed to diversity and global experiences. 58 are the first in their family to pursue a 4-year degree. 21 of you did foreign exchange, study, or service. 48 were involved in diversity or LGBT clubs. And 32 students were on their speech, debate, or Model UN or mock trial teams. You also have unusual talents and hobbies, of which I will share some with you. One was the youth director of the Ohio State Dwarf Hotot Rabbit Club. There's a gold medal at the 2013 Junior Olympics in Taekwondo. One of you trains guide dogs and worked at an animal shelter in South Africa. One of you was born and raised in the Congo and lived through the Rwandan genocide. We have a state science day qualifier, a state forestry team captain. One of you started a production and design company. We have rock climbers, a quiz bowl participant, a president of the East Asian Culture Club, Naval Junior ROTC orienteering team member. We have a nationally ranked equestrian jumper. We have a National Junior Olympic cross-country qualifier. One of you interned under a sound therapist at a hospital. We have an improv comedy club member. We have the first African American to win a state debate championship. We have a finalist for the Under 17 All Pakistani Debate Championship. We have a costume designer. One of you competed in Lahore's Got Talent and received third prize. We have someone who established a compost system at their high school. We have a baseball glove expert. We have a national paintball referee. We have an anchor on the high school morning news, and one of you placed first in 2 arm wrestling tournaments. We have 15 siblings, and 28 of you have parents or grandparents that attended OWU. The most popular boy's name is Ryan and Alexander, and the most popular girl's name is Sarah. You've come to us today having accomplished so much in such a short amount of time. During your time here, may you become more than you already are, and may you enter the outside world with an openness to sharing your talents and gifts with those around you. Congratulations once again on becoming members of the Ohio Wesleyan family. And President Jones, I now present to you the new transfer students and the class of 2020.
Thank you, Susan. Good afternoon. On behalf of the faculty and the staff and the Board of Trustees, it is my deep honor to welcome you, the newest members of the Ohio Wesleyan University family, the OWU class of 2020, and those who transfer into the classes of 2018 and 2019. Today we gather in this historic chapel where students have gathered for 120 years in the heart of a historic campus where students and faculty have gathered for 174 years. And we mark the opening of the 175th academic year in the history of Ohio Wesleyan. As we gather in this historic setting, we are reminded of the enduring values of Ohio Wesleyan University, an institution founded in 1842. From its founding, OWU has been devoted to educating citizens who provide leadership in every sector of our society and to answer the call to a life that serves the common good and seeks to make the world a better place. We hope the same from all of you. Our charter, written by our founders 174 years ago, speaks of an education forever devoted to the liberal arts, that values diversity. Their language was Ohio Wesleyan would be open to all students regardless of religious affiliation. And they spoke of an education designed for the benefit of citizens in general. Here at OWU, our education is grounded in the tradition of the liberal arts. Here you will be challenged to think deeply, to explore a variety of disciplines and gain a breadth of perspective, to find your voice so that you can communicate persuasively with the pen and with your spoken voice, to develop empathetic understanding of those whose life experiences and worldviews differ drastically from your own, and to make sound judgments that separate that which serves our common interest from that which threatens the fundamental values of a democratic society and affirms the dignity of every human being. Our education begins in the classroom, shaped by the faculty behind me, and extends beyond the classroom to varsity athletics. We have the football team right in front of me, go Bishops. Student organizations, the performing arts, active engagement in a residential community, and a host of other opportunities that await you as you stand on the threshold of some of the most formative years of your life. Here at OWU, your education is enriched by the OWU Connection. The OWU Connection is liberal arts for the 21st century. The OWU Connection is voracious learning and passionate teaching. It's our commitment to help you find your passion and build your pathway to meaningful work and a rewarding life. The OWU Connection challenges you to think big. It is designed to prepare you to confront the biggest and most complex global problems facing our society we want you to become a global problem solver. And so to that end, we want you to learn to explore complex problems from multiple perspectives and to integrate knowledge across the disciplines. The challenges your generation inherits will not be solved in narrow silos of individual thinking. They will require the leadership of people who understand connections. The connection between physics and poetry, or the connection between social justice and a strong economy. We want you to think big. The OWU Connection challenges you to go global. We want you to develop a global and diverse perspective. You'll have amazing opportunities to experience other cultures in your interactions with students and in opportunities to travel across the country and around the world. Last year's graduating class, more than 55% of the members of the class left the country as a part of their time at OWU. We want to prepare you for life in a global society and for work in a global economy. We celebrate the diversity of this campus, and we celebrate the beauty of the rich cultural diversity in the larger world. We want you to go global. The OWU Connection challenges you to get real experience. We want you to practice the application of knowledge. Internships, apprenticeships, undergraduate research, and field study are all available to you in extraordinary ways. Nearby Columbus is one of the most dynamic cities in all of 21st century America, with extraordinary opportunity awaiting you. Seek out opportunity and put yourself in the real world. We want you to get real. The OWU Connection supports our commitment to educate moral leaders for a global society. Never has this objective been more important. Recent months have surfaced deep divisions in our society. Many of these divisions are laced with fear and suspicion that translates all too quickly into abject hatred. The stain of racism, religious intolerance, violence, and prejudice based on gender identity are all too present. Here at OWU, we will not shy away from deep and at times difficult conversations about these and other topics of contemporary importance. Drawing on our roots in liberal education, we will seek to place these conversations in historical context, to identify the philosophical, social, and anthropological foundations that give rise to the conversation, and to help chart a better course for a more hopeful future. At the heart of our conversations will be a commitment to the dignity of every human being and a commitment to create a campus that is safe, welcoming, and hospitable, especially to those who have been marginalized or who may be victims of inhumane words and actions because of their identity. We celebrate diversity on this campus. I suspect that every person in this class will have the opportunity on this campus to become friends with individuals whose life experience, cultural heritage, religious tradition, and worldview vary vastly from your own. Your horizons will be broadened, and you will help broaden the horizons of others. And so to that end, I would like to offer just a few bits of counsel. First, keep an open mind. Nothing is more important nor more conspicuously absent in too many of today's conversations than an open mind. It is the foundation of liberal education. Every improvement to the fabric of our society, every invention that led to a better quality of life, and every entrepreneurial moment that created a new business or a new organization resulted from someone who was willing to think differently with an open mind. Keep an open mind. Engage in the conversation in a civil way. Our world needs individuals who are willing to engage in thoughtful conversation that respects differences of opinion. Growth does not happen when we all think alike. Our country was founded on the premise that engaged citizens who value civil conversation can shape a just and democratic society. Engage the civil conversation. And then put words into action. Or in the words of Owu, put theory into practice. It is one thing to talk, it is another thing to walk. Use the next 4 years to think about how your life will reflect your values and how you will make the world a better place. Put this into practice by taking action as a student. Engaged citizenship is a way of life, not just a way of thought. Put words into action. Over the next 4 years, and indeed over the course of all of life that follows, you'll be faced with a myriad of decisions. Some will be large and momentous, some will seem small and inconsequential. But even the apparently small decisions can lead to consequences that have dramatic impact, positive or negative, on the trajectory of your life. And so I challenge you as you begin your time at Owu to commit yourself to thoughtful and wise decision making. I challenge you to challenge one another to thoughtful and wise decision making. Hold one another to the highest standards of self-respect and respect for others. Be willing and have the courage to intervene when those standards or the safety and well-being of a fellow student is at risk. Now a word for parents. This is a momentous day for you. You have spent nearly 2 decades preparing for this moment, and now that it arrives, I know there are a range of feelings that evoke joy and pride, accompanied by a touch of sadness and even a sense of loss. Today, you entrust to this campus that which you cherish the most. We honor your trust, and we pledge to do our best, knowing that the results of the coming 4 years require the best of all of us, our faculty and staff, our students, and the families who stand in support of all that happens. We look forward to your presence on campus from time to time and to the relationship we establish as you take your place in the Owu family. I mentioned earlier our founder's statement that an Ohio Wesleyan education is designed for the benefit of citizens in general. Students, that means an Owu education is not just about you. It is about the impact you will have on the world and the role you will play in shaping a more just and civil society, envisioning a better future through entrepreneurial activities that bring new ideas to life, and preserving the planet that gives and sustains all of life. Dr. Ben Arneson taught at Ohio Wesleyan for 36 years before his retirement more than 60 years ago. His impact on this campus now spans more than a century. He understood the social impact of an Owu education. So to that end, he challenged his students to sign a pledge in which they committed themselves to a life of service to the common good. I have met alumni who graduated in 1949 and 1950 who still carry that pledge in their wallet. You've been given a copy of the Arneson Pledge today, and if you have it in your hands, I invite you to follow along as I read. And I invite you to contemplate making this your commitment as you begin the season of your years on this campus and as you prepare for all that will follow your time at Owu. With a view to serving the public interest and regardless of the nature of my future vocation, I pledge that upon leaving college, I will devote a portion of my time to active and definite participation in public affairs. I challenge you to embrace the Arneson Pledge and to make your commitment to serve the common good and to make the world a better place. Welcome to Ohio Wesleyan University. May the coming years be rich in opportunity, profound in growth, and lasting in influence as you prepare for moral leadership in our global society. We are proud to welcome you as bishops, and we look forward to all that is ahead. Welcome.
Please stand for our alma mater.
Thank you, Rachel. It will not surprise you to learn that Rachel is a vocal performance major. What might surprise you, it surprised me when I learned it, is that she is a double vocal performance and vocal piano major, which means 2 junior recitals and 2 senior recitals. I said that's about like the Iron Man in my view. So Rachel, thank you. In 1842, when Ohio Wesleyan was founded and the university prepared to convene classes for the first time, a bell was given or loaned, and later became a gift, that would be used for the opening and closing of each academic year. This is that bell. Now, it really does not ring any longer, but in a moment I will do what presidents have done for 175 years and give the sound of the bell to formally proclaim the opening of the 175th academic year in the history of Ohio Wesleyan University.